claim 3 points tonight, but would give them a 12-point lead ahead of Marconi's trip to the Central Coast and Apia Leichhardt's clash with Sutherland tomorrow. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to a very wintry Christie Park for Indigenous round in the NPL New South Wales men's competition. Spirit FC hosting the league leaders Rockdale Ilinden. The visitors looking to claim 3 points here tonight. That would give them a 12-point lead ahead of Marconi's trip to the Central Coast and Apia Leichhardt's clash with Sutherland tomorrow. As I mentioned, Indigenous round in New South Wales football this weekend as we acknowledge and celebrate First Nations history, culture and football. So wherever you are around the world, thank you for joining us for the coverage tonight on Darug land. Let's get to the team news. A fair bit of it for Spirit FC after their surprise 3-0 loss to the Mariners up at Plume Park last weekend. That 3-0 defeat has catalysed 4 changes for David Perkovic tonight. Starting a goal again is number 1 Chris Marks behind a back four of number 36 Kyle Williams, number 22 Giannis Freck, number 16 the returning Ante Bakmaj, and number 13 Simon Nicholas. A midfield 3 expected of number 20 the captain Jared Lum, number 4 Jared McKinley, and number 10 the returning Michael Contestabo after his red card a couple of weeks ago. Number 7, Richard Duck off the left. A debut for number 15, Takeru Sugita off the right, supporting number 11, Ollie Wigan. Just one change for Rockdale Ilinden after their impressive victory over Hills United, a 5-0 thumping last weekend. So the lone change is Dean Pelikanos returning to the heart of midfield wearing number 8. Behind him in goal, number 1, Nick Soros makes his second start after returning to Rockdale during the registration window. A back four is the same as last weekend's. Number 23, Hunter Elliott off the right. Number 2, Daniel Collins. And number 4, Robbie Speranza in the middle. Number 5, his brother Giorgio on the left. Pelikanos, as I mentioned, in midfield alongside number 6, Isaac Danzo, and number 10, Brenda Chalakian. Number 11, Lachlan Constable will start off the right. Number 66, Matthew Cordier off the left, supporting the league's leading scorer, Alek Urashevsky. What a return it's been for Urashevsky, a purple patch even by his standards over the last couple of weeks. He's increased his lead in the Golden Boot race with a hatful, including a hat-trick last weekend. 25 goals in just 22 league games. He needs 2 more to equal the tally that took him to that prize last season. And he's looking to take Rockdale Ilinden to greater honours. They're still yet to win a New South Wales premiership over a whole home and away season. Their lone premiership and the top tier of New South Wales football coming during the 2020 COVID season. It's been 40 years since their lone championship in 1984. This is their best chance yet. They fell agonisingly short last year, caught up by Apia in the later stages and overtaken. They still face Apia late in this season. They're looking for consistency, which they've found with the exception of that bizarre 9-0 loss to Marconi, and that's really the only way to describe it, because outside that game they've won all 13 of their last 13 fixtures with the exception of that one across league and cup. They are the league's most formidable side. And so a test for Spirit, who've lost their last 2 after such a terrific month of June, which saw them qualify for the round of 32 in the Australia Cup. They'll have a big event here on Wednesday, August 7 against the Glenorchy Knights from Tasmanian football. A home draw after having to travel up to Queensland a couple of years ago on their first entry into the round of 32 of the Australia Cup. So exciting times ahead, but they need to refine some form, which has just deserted them a little over the past couple of weeks, losing to the bottom 2 in Sutherland and the Central Coast over the past 2 weeks. Rockdale will feel that if they deliver anything near their best tonight, they should be heavy, heavy favourites. They've started that way here inside the first 2 minutes, controlling the tempo and possession. Probably become a more possession-focused side this season. An advantage in an attacking aspect over the past few seasons has been how direct they're able to be. Rashevsky, of course, loves to get off the shoulder. Constable's a player who's not quite as forward-thinking as who he replaced out on the wing, Jaden Casella, who's moved on since last season. Brendan Chalaki in the heartbeat of their midfield and their most creative player wearing number 10. Isaac Danzo's got a bit of that creativity about him as well. Inside the steel that Dean Pelikanos brings in the heart of midfield. Fine team, Paul D, that has assembled. He's still serving a touchline ban though, so Nick Stavroulakis in charge again on the bench today. This is just the second game of the round. Manly United knocked off at home by Hills. Responded well to their 5-0 defeat by Rockdale last time out. Kubo getting a double, which has just pulled them away from the relegation battle a little further. Spirit have all but extricated themselves from those sort of discussions. 6 points clear of Sydney FC in 15th place as things stand. 3 points here would just give them an added layer of comfort, but good form over the last month or so, which I've already mentioned, has really carried them clear from that. They didn't have the best start to the season. 6 games without a win to begin 2024. It has all come together slowly for David Perkovic over the course of what is a much longer season than we're used to in New South Wales football, certainly over the last couple of years with the 30 games home and away. And the return of finals football this year, of course, as well. The top 6 qualifying for that. Rockdale will be very close to confirming their place with a win tonight. Lovely feet from Mathieu Cordier. First burst into the area, and it will whiskers away from taking the lead through Dean Pelikanos. Returning to the side after missing last week's win against Hills United. It's only got the 1 goal so far this season. Not a player accustomed to find in the back of the net. Got himself in a very good position there. Cordier is one I've spoken about a couple of times doing Rockdale games over the last couple of weeks. He's thrived in that further forward left wing role that Dee and Stavroulakis have deployed him in. Almost notched another assist to his growing tally this season there. Kaya Williams partnering Ante Bakmaj in the heart of defence to start this one. Jake Chidiak only on the bench tonight. A bit of a reshuffle in David Perkovic's back line, and they need a little bit more defensive stability. Conceded 3 goals in 4 of their last 5 league games. That makes it very difficult to pick up points when you're conceding at that rate. And Alek Urashevsky is sniffing goals, looking to drag defenders wide with him, just couldn't sort his feet out. Nicholas actually thumped it against him to clear. Still the attack alive though, as Constable finds Chalakian. Not the biggest body in the box, but it was a well-measured cross from his right winger. And Spirit, as expected, are under quite a bit of pressure early. From the league leaders, carrying a 9-point buffer in tonight. Apia trailing them by 10 points, but with a couple of games in hand, so could reduce that deficit to just 4. Rockdale all too aware of that, knowing that drop-offs like the one they suffered midweek against Marconi a few weeks ago couldn't become habit. They've bounced back from that disappointing result emphatically with their performances over the past couple of weekends. The win against Blacktown at Blacktown, and a comfortable win over Hills United last weekend. They're looking to go about this one the same way. Urashevsky and Chalakian have linked up so well all year. Bakmaj was alive to the danger there. Wiggins good at turning himself out of tight areas, and Danny Horsted has his first big decision to make tonight, and he judges that Wigan got a toe to that one as it was belted forward, and Rockdale pick up perhaps a little bit fortunately their first attacking corner of the match. So always bring Rockdale a healthy contingent of travelling support away to our left from the commentary position tonight. Brendan Chalakian over the first set piece of the night for the visitors. It's a dangerous one as well. Rising to clear, I think, was Darko. Through a crowd of bodies, it was Danzo. Half away by Spirit, and a chance for them to break here through Jared McKinley. Not known for his pace and his dribbling ability. Spotted the opportunity and had the cool heads. Here's the new signing, Sugita. The same Japanese university system as two familiar faces around these parts in Kota Odakura and Musashi Kokubo, both now departed, but still with close ties to the club. Well, they had so much success and were part of the promotion campaign and the first season in the top flight last year. Brendan Chalakian wanted a booking. Wry smile from Danny Horsted, and that won't do. The ball rolling a good 10 yards forward from where the foul was committed. And Chalakian's just pointing to the touchline here. And he's not happy with the pair of boots that he's got by the sounds of things. So Yankerson Mola's playing bootman duties. Off he goes to the dressing room to get his number 10, a new couple of pieces of footwear. Play goes on for the moment. Constable was ducking inside. Urashevsky's always keen to have the ball delivered to him. It's going to take something special to find him in that situation. Promising start for Rockdale. Perhaps the most promising thing for Berkovic and Spirit is the fact that their defences look fairly sturdy to this point. Nice change from the past couple of weeks. Be no building out from the back tonight, knowing the pressure that they'll come under over the course of the 90 minutes. First touch for Nick Soros tonight, just his second start for Rockdale, where spent some time earlier in his career before moving on to Sydney Olympic. There was a short loan spell at Perth Glory in the A-League as their backup keeper in 2021-2022. Didn't actually make it onto the pitch there, but he is a keeper that comes with plenty of backing and a solid resume at this level. After the departure, of course, of Harrison Devonish-Mears to Sydney FC. The club had been aware of for a little bit of time, but had to wait until the registration window to replace him. Ricardo Rizzo had one performance he wouldn't be too proud of amongst his few starts, but was solid against Blacktown City a couple of Saturdays ago. Or Sundays, I should say. Williams, who's been touted as a ball-playing centre-half by his junior coaches, striding forward there, looking for Ollie Wigan. Nice bit of work from Daniel Collins, sweeping up. Hunter Elliott is a glut of Manly United youth products down this right-hand side. What about the ball from Constable, and without the attention of Giannis Freck, you fancy that Rockdale would have taken the lead. Another one of those Manly alumni stepping in at the vital moment to stop Urashevsky. Much easier said than done at the moment. So Mola is down there now. You'll spot him almost chasing down Brendan Chalakian. I think he'll try and change his boots here before he takes the corner. I'm not sure whether the referees will allow that. Keeping a very close eye on him is Cameron Wright, the assistant on the near side today.
Someone needs to be on the 8.
Yeah, looks as though the right boot at least has been changed. Multicoloured boots for Brendan Chalakian, who swings in his second corner of the night. It's towards Robbie Speranza. Giorgio gets it back in. Nicholas half away. Danzo trying to recycle. Cutting pass for Constable. Lom flicking it away, and then something rather more agricultural from Mikey Conestabo, but effective nonetheless. And that was a bit of a cheap giveaway from Elliott. Managed to win it back, though. And Chalakian turned it over. Robbie Speranza back from that ACL. They've enjoyed having him available in the centre of defence. He's started both games since returning against Blacktown City in the starting lineup for the first time. Now, there was a little coming together there between Urashevsky and Kaya Williams. Urashevsky can be a fiery character, but generally keeps himself on the right side of the referees. Conversation between he and the young centre-half. David Perkovic is less than impressed. There's a little slap of hands between those two, but we'll keep an eye on that little battle. Free kick given to Spirit, but no booking at this early stage. Rather aimless ball from Freck, but Connor Starbo timed his challenge. And away goes Wigan. Past Hunter Elliott's sliding challenge as well. Has he got the vision to pick someone out? Connor Starbo tried to make something of it. Lum! Through a forest of bodies, and Soros saw it late. And perhaps because of that, beats it into a rather dangerous area. Thankfully for him, his defence were alive to the danger. But more promising signs for Spirit, who've absorbed the early pressure and have caused Rockdale one or two little issues in transition as we approach the 15-minute mark in this first half. It's been an enjoyable watch early. Alex Molchanoff with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page tonight. How creative with their throw-in routine, Spirit. That one not quite working out as they had it planned, and Constable able to turn away from danger, searching for Urashevsky, who's always the outball. Nicholas read it all the way. Wasn't particularly tidy from Marks. You can say the same of Constable. And Spirit just taking a beat. They'll play at an intensity that is far higher than the average across the NPL New South Wales men's, and one of the highest pressing teams in the competition, and move the ball so quickly. Simon Nicholas has tried to take about 10 yards with that throw, and he wasn't far off doing it by the time he did get it back into play. Wigan has been surrounded by players every time he's touched the ball so far this evening. They'll have clearly got a plan for him. Hunter Elliott to deal with him when he tries to use his legs, and then one of the centre halves getting across to try and beat him physically. This Spirit's top goal scorer so far this season. Only at the miserly total of 4. They have shared them around a little bit, Spirit. Not the most prolific team in the competition by any stretch of the imagination, but scoring enough to get results over the past month or so. It's been the other end of the pitch that's let them down, and that was very much a reverse of what was happening earlier in the year. Robbie Speranza under pressure from Sugita. On debut for Spirit tonight. The Japanese striker. Pushed Jesse Michelle, who's been starting in that position, out of the squad entirely tonight. Sugita trying to get his foot on that one. It's a deflected clearance which goes in Rockdale's favour. Couple of games after us tonight on the Football New South Wales YouTube page, where you're finding this one. St George FC hosting the Western Sydney Wanderers at 7 o'clock, and then St George City, very close rivals, hosting Sydney FC in a clash that has implications around the top 6 and the finals places, as well as those battling to avoid relegation. Really are in the business end of the season, round 23. Action you're watching tonight from the NPL New South Wales men's. Lockie Constable trying to make something of that. Williams just easing him out of the way, and then a beautiful bit of technique to find Connor Starbo. Can dash forwards. Touch just letting him down. Pelicanos and Danzo forming such an effective screen in front of their defence. Been so critical for Rockdale, who conceded too many goals to win the premiership last year. That was the truth of the matter in the end. They've improved that side of the ball. They've improved how they defend in transition and the opportunities that they give up in that area. Daniel Collins has helped that as well. Not a particularly orthodox piece of defending there, but it got the job done. Spirit have been effective in slowing the tempo when they've needed to at the moment. It's been an intriguing tactical battle between Perkovic and Stavroulakis at the moment, in place of Paul D tonight, still serving a touchline ban. Collins just pondering over it for a second too long and saw us racing out of his goal, alive to the danger. No nonsense with the clearance, right over the heads of the travelling Rockdale support. No doubt there'll be some words for Jared Lum as he looks to launch this one into the Ilinden penalty area. Spirit skipper ready now. He goes long. It's not a bad effort either, and it wasn't really dealt with by Rockdale. Just didn't have anyone attacking it at the back post. Wigan trying to keep the attack alive. Lovely little back heel. Managed to stay on side as well, Lum. Shalakian getting all the way back to do some defending. Boots it clear for Urashevsky. Appeals for handball from the Spirit bench, not particularly from their players. And Rockdale have won out through all of that. Cordier the outball on the left-hand side. Giorgio Speranza belting forward to support him. Reaches him now. Ball to the top of the box. Elliott. Audacious effort, but the technique was right. Just didn't quite have the timing. This player who's shown himself to have an eye for goal in his short NPL New South Wales career so far. Spirit going away from going long this time, just changing the angle of the clearance perhaps. Jared McKinley was very alive to the plan, got there first. Couldn't beat Giorgio Speranza though. In fact, it was Pelikanos getting back there. Did a brilliant bit of work, the central midfielder. Chalakian in those spaces that he loves to operate in and going for goal. Mark saw it all the way and was happy that it was going wide, but team that have the most shots in the competition. There's no surprise about that. They convert more than anyone else as well. Not afraid to fire from distance. Good challenge from Bakmaj, who they've missed over the past couple of weeks. Spirit serving his second suspension for reaching 9 yellow cards. Which carries a 2-game ban. Not the best timing in the season for Spirit, and so look to push up into the top half and maybe give themselves an outside chance of playing finals. It looks as though they're going to fall a fair way short of that now. These games very much preparation for the honours in the cup competitions to come. These two, of course, will meet in the Waratah Cup semi-final in the not too distant future. That will be down at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Spirit trying to reach their second Waratah Cup final in 3 years. Ilinden looking to reach their first ever. Speranza was firm and unfair, according to Danny Horsted. Two of the more experienced campaigners out there in Giorgio Speranza and Richard Darko. Darko really has been on the periphery so far tonight. Barely called his name to this point. Almost a quarter all way into this one. Bakmaj, who does like to push into midfield when he gets the opportunity, so that he can be a bit more of a creative force. Couldn't quite measure the pass as he would have liked there. Collins carrying forward. There's a focus from Spirit to make sure that it's Daniel Collins playing out. So the least accomplished of the back four in those situations. Elliott's enjoying his little battle with Ollie Wiggin. He's really taken to the task of marking Spirit's danger man. Danzo floating that one, and Freck starting at right fullback tonight. A little bit of a different role. Wondered whether it was going to be he or Kaya Williams partnering Buck Mudge in the centre of defence. See Chris Marks just looking to slow the tempo as much as possible. Rashevsky energetic as ever, leading the press from the front. Ball nearly bypassed everyone in red and black there, and eventually Sugita's managed to chase it down. Wanted the free kick and got it right in front of the Rockdale supporters. Takaru Sugita wasn't too happy with the reaction of Hunter Elliott after he had taken the ball out of play. Some accusations been thrown around by the Spirit bench. They've got the free kick in any case. So Jared Lum under it, or over it rather. Now he gets under it. Decent ball in, and Rockdale haven't dealt with it, and it's scrambled in. Kaya Williams claiming the final touch. And it was all a bit messy, but Spirit won't care about that. They've got the lead. Rockdale not able to clear their lines when they seem to have the opportunity to do so. And Nick Soros is beaten for the first time since returning to Rockdale Ilinden. And a big moment for Kaya Williams as well. His first senior goal. Not one for the highlights reels, but one he'll remember fondly nonetheless. A big smile on the young man's face, and so there should be. They've absorbed the pressure, and they've been rewarded. Not a situation Rockdale are accustomed to. And Richard Taco has got the bit between his teeth now and takes up the attack for Spirit. Searching for Cottestabo. It's reached Ollie Wigan in a bit of space. Tried to get the shot away, but Hunter Elliott was scampering across to cover. Managed to do the blocking job, and how a goal can change a game. Suddenly Spirit, who've been on the back foot for the majority of the first half, look enlivened, I'll get it out eventually, and energetic. A special moment for 19-year-old Kaya Williams. His first senior goal has given Spirit the early lead. And Jared Lum is trying to double Rockdale's trouble. Swirling cross towards Soros, who punched clear, but Danny Horsted's whistle had gone for an infringement he'd seen inside the box. Rockdale with a bit of a let-off. Interesting for Soros. He's not played a lot of football over the past couple of seasons. Highly respected around this competition, no doubt, but been playing second fiddle at Olympic for a little while now. Rockdale trying to strike back through Chalakian. Looking to bend that one, but didn't catch it as he was looking to. Both boots are now blue for Brendan Chalakian. That's been a bit of an ongoing saga over the opening 26 minutes or so of this game. Haven't got them quite locked in yet. That's a lovely ball out from Chris Marks, right on the foot of Richard Zarko on the other side of the field. It's really picked apart Rockdale's defence because Sagita's got it. Commanding challenge from Robbie Speranza. So a test of Rockdale's character and mentality. One goal is nothing to panic about, particularly this early in the game and the way they're playing. Just got to make sure their heads don't drop. Pelikanos. Williams, who's been outstanding in this first half and has got his goal as a reward. Sugita Don't know how much Conestabbo knew about the way he was bringing that ball down, but it's all worked out nicely. And Elliott over again to win the challenge, but this time he concedes the corner. A vastly improved opening half hour from Spirit FC compared to the two performances they put in last week. Team that can trouble even the very best in the competition on their day. It's just working to make that day more consistent, making sure the difference between their ceiling and their floor is not quite as vast as it's been over the past couple of years. And, well, an eventful opening half hour for Kaya Williams, who gets the opening goal of the game and then picks up a booking. First half of firsts. And David Perkovic is less than impressed with that decision for his young defender. Stavroulakis has edged, or made his way to the edge of his technical area for the first time so far tonight. Generally cuts a fairly cool and calm figure on the touchline. To be honest, there's not been too much to worry about in terms of what Rockdale have put together. They've created enough in terms of chances. Probably haven't forced Chris Marks into as many saves as they would have liked from those situations. Certainly were in control of the tempo and possession and all those sort of figures that you're looking for in terms of a story of a match. In its opening 20 minutes or so. That's changed a little bit since Spirit found their goal from the set piece. Urashevsky's just shrugged off Freck. Now picks up the ball off Cordier, whipping it across the face of goal. Constable at the back post and a very sharp save from Marks. Rockdale trying to re-establish that foothold that they had earlier in the match. That was certainly the sort of way to go about it. The clever work off the ball of Alek Urashevsky, creating it all. And Lockie Constable is not too far away from having his 8th league goal of the campaign. Collins, once of Blacktown City. It's a winner on his return there a couple of weeks ago. Giorgio Speranza, wide for Urashevsky. He's taken up a wide left position this time. He's enjoying this little battle with Jonas Frack. Kept it in play, did he? Not quite. Nice bit of defending from another Spirit youngster. It is a young team that David Perkovic has put out tonight again. Not quite as young as it's been over the past couple of weeks, it must be said. Playing out and inviting the press from Rockdale. They've done a pretty solid job of playing through it in the opening half hour or so. Elliott's header only as far as Lum. Constable just not quite reading the ball that was coming his way. Saurus launching beyond anyone in red and black. Williams for Wigan. Now Lum. Conestabbo trying to keep something smooth going. All broke down at the critical moment. Nice ball in field from Elliott, and Urashevsky was so close to being off the shoulder. Well read by Williams. Now it's Spirit's turn to break. Transition becoming more and more critical for both teams as this game progresses. Both trying to hit the other at their most vulnerable. It's a fixture that promised goals. We got plenty of them in the 3 fixtures that these two have played against each other. Now, Danny Orsted is going to make a point to particularly Jared Lum, because Spirit have been taking their time over getting play restarted since they took the lead. Not a yellow card, but certainly a talking to. already aware. Now Lum launches it in, and again not really dealt with by Rockdale. Hunter Elliott was the man who eventually got it clear. Still a swirling ball to the back post, and the flag was up against Dante Buckmarsh, who'd stayed forward. Stayed too far forward. Dunzo. Flicked over the top by Urashevsky, increasingly finding his way to the left-hand side. Giorgio Speranza underlapping and winning the corner off Richie Darko. It's about this time last season where I remember doing a game Rockdale had to win against Wollongong at home. They trailed 3-0 at half-time, fell away from the premiership race after that. Not saying the similar thing is developing here, but to be very aware of time ticking away, as I'm sure all their supporters are. So keen for a second premiership in 5 seasons, so keen for a first championship in 40 years. At the top table in New South Wales football. Williams looking as assured as ever. Pelikanos into a tough challenge. It was all fair, said referee Horsted. And Robbie Speranza has just headed that one over his own byline. So a Spirit corner. And now there's complaints from the Spirit players about the nature of the challenge from Pelikanos on the goal scorer, Kaya Williams, who's still down. Both went up very similarly into the exchange. Williams limping his way away. Mikey Conestavo just taking in some instructions from in front. It's all happening here. Trying to keep eyes everywhere. What we do have is another Spirit corner. It was a set piece which resulted in their first goal. Can they find another here? Jared Lum over another one. Swinging it in towards Soros, not picking out anyone in yellow that time. Chalakian and Collins combining to clear. Rashevsky after the long ball. And they're going to be careful they don't leave it short. Kaya Williams bailing out Simon Nicholas, who had done exactly that with the header. Not one to be denied for too long, Alek Urashevsky, playing at one of the only 2 grounds in the NPL New South Wales tonight that he hasn't scored at. Of course, just the one previous visit, 1-0 win here last year. Jaden Casella, now departed, got a late goal, which proved to be the winner. Since that night, a couple of braces for Urashevsky against this opposition. So 4 goals in his last 2 against Spirit. They're all too aware of the danger he poses, but they've managed to keep him at bay to this point. This reshuffled defence for David Perkovic doing the job for him to this point. That one goes right into the scoreboard on the far side. Something went flying. I think it might have been the the camera up there. The tactical cam that the team set up to capture the games from a high view. So I think that's the Rockdale one. Someone will have to go and fix that up. Could be an expensive deflection. And Nick Soros has not quite shown an assuredness with the ball at his feet so far tonight. Which is another one straight out over the touchline under no real pressure. Darko onto his left foot, and this time Soros commanding in the air. Had to be as well, because Mikey Conestavo was the favourite to win that one before the Ilinden goalkeeper entered the fray. Might have been 2 handballs from Chalakian there. Eventually the whistle goes. Spirits have been right on top of the referees in the first half. Not feeling they're quite getting the rub of the green, although they do have the lead here through 19-year-old Kaya Williams. His first goal in senior football. Could prove to be a very, very memorable one. Could be even more memorable if Spirit double it here. Right in the nick of time, Dean Pelikanos. That's what he's brought to them from St George City this season. Knack for nicking the ball off attacking players at the most critical of moments. And Simon Nicholas getting a hearty congratulations from Wigan for making the challenge. Every tackle will be celebrated for the underdogs tonight. Spirit have been unable to get a point off Rockdale in their 3 clashes so far. And no nonsense challenge from McKinley. And then Connor Starbo went over. McKinley trying to continue his attack on the Rockdale players by getting the ball forward. Wasn't able to do so. And Sagita getting across to lend a hand. Nice work from Takero. Another chance for Spirit just to slow the tempo. Straight up in the air. Pelikanos lobbing it forward towards Urashevsky. Kaya Williams has been outstanding in this first half. Collins slicing clearance, which Soros is able to keep in play, although not inside his 18-yard box. And once again, can only find the touchline. That was an awkward one for him, no doubt. Rockdale starting to become frustrated with the time Spirit are taking over the restarts that are going their way. Haven't had quite as much luck in keeping possession and controlling the tempo since going behind the visitors. Still plenty of time to find this equaliser and what they really want to win at. But Spirit have stuck to their plan and carried it out effectively to this point.
Step on the ball! Don't let him face forward!
Giorgio Speranza. Darko, who has been so diligent defensively in this first half. As Spirit players have, to be honest, to a man. Had to work very, very hard off the ball and have been willing to do so. Danzo. Hunter Elliott. Such a cultured footballer, Danzo. That wasn't exactly a cultured ball forwards. Certainly the clearance from Ante Bakmash didn't fit that description either. Danny Horsted had nowhere to go. Drop ball goes Spirit's way. Bakmash showing off his range of passing. Wigan, who's been under close attention from Hunter Elliott all evening. And Danny Horsted will say, that's your final chance, son. Been the only real way that Rockdale have been able to stop Ollie Wiggins' forward progress so far tonight is by fouling him. Nick Stavroulakis not overly impressed with what he's seen in the first half. Rockdale haven't been too far short of their best, but just short enough that the chances have dried up a little since going behind. And that just won't do at the moment for the league leaders, who need every point available to them. With a tough stretch to come in their run-in. Urashevsky's just run over players all night. He just made another couple his victim as Wiggins brought to ground again. David Perkovic wants more protection for his star man. Taking turns in bringing him down, really, Rockdale. First foul I can remember Pelikanos committing tonight. driving it low. Wigan going into another little battle with Hunter Elliott. There is just a tension about both teams that is underwriting everything that is happening here at Christie Park tonight, both knowing the importance of the result. Rockdale have not enjoyed being the hunted over the last couple of years. Facing another difficult situation tonight, and the pressure is coming to the referees as well. Simon Nicholas bringing down Urashevsky as he looked to play the ball. Perhaps he's a little fortunate to escape a booking as well. Just one card handed out by Danny Horsted to this point. He's kept control of a rather tempestuous first half patiently. Danzo for Chalakian. This is where Rockdale love to operate. It's Alek Urashevsky, who's off the shoulder, and as soon as he was near the football, there was almost a bee's hive of players rushing to surround him in yellow and black. And now, Danny Horsted spots that Cameron Wright's flag had gone up on the near side. Urashevsky was offside, so a free kick goes Spirit's way. It looks as though they're going to get to the break with this 1-0 advantage given to them by Kyle Williams, their centre half. His first goal in professional football, well, in senior football, I should say. Sakita might have been fouled, but you feel that the ball had travelled over the touchline by the time he was in any case. Giorgio Speranzo here had hold of the Japanese striker, now has hold of the football. Williams, who prefers the ball on the ground, got something on that one. Bakmaj trying to buy the free kick off Brendan Chalakian. Horsted not interested and now stopping play because there is a head injury. It has been a moment-to-minute in this first half. Little individual scraps between players, chances to both teams. Now our fourth official, Luke Chapman, indicates to us there'll just be the single minute added on at the end of this first half. Promising signs for Spirit on the scoreboard, but less so with the defensive bedrock. Ante Bakmaj lying prone on the turf at the moment, receiving some treatment for a collision with Brendan Chalakian, which wasn't seen worthy of a free kick. Apologies if you did pick that one up through the FX microphones, but I did mention that Rockdale have been frustrated with what they feel are Spirit's delaying tactics throughout this first half. Bakmaj is still down. He hasn't really moved, so though I can understand Nick Stavroulakis' frustration, I feel this is a situation that could be rather worrying for Spirit if they do have to replace him. Greg Kavanagh back on the bench today, as is Grant Cornwall. Two players who've been around these parts for long enough to come in and do a job. Of course, Jonas Freck started as a centre-back, both against the Mariners and Sutherland Sharks in his first two appearances for the club, so he can shift inside there as well. There's options for David Perkovic if he does have to remove Bakmaj, but I feel that don't quite replace the talent he gives them with the ball. He's sitting up again now, feeling the back of his neck. Tony Horsted's going to have to add all this time on. Haven't seen a minute of play basically since we ticked past the 45-minute mark. Bakmaj is going to have to make his way from the field as well because there was no even free kick blown. Jake Chidiak is the man up and half-heartedly getting warm, it must be said. So you feel there'll be about a minute here for Spirit to see out to get to the break with his goal-to-nil advantage. Drop ball is just launched forward by Freck. Sloppy touch from Chalakian. That's an uncharacteristic one, and Ollie Wigan has been fouled 4 or 5 times by my count in this first half, indicating that he got him right on the back of the calf muscle there. Ollie Wigan has been in the wars in this first half. Physio had just taken Bakmaj off to the far side, making the run over to the net to treat Spirit's winger. So still this first half will be extended. Rockdale might just like another minute added to the start of the second half. Get their plan right. Figure out how they're going to attack the second half of this game. Remainder of Indigenous round still to come tomorrow. We got 4 games for you from the NPL New South Wales men's. 3 of them kicking off at 3 o'clock. Sydney United 58 hosting Blacktown City. What a clash that will be between those 2 old rivals. Wollongong Wolves taking on Sydney Olympic, 2 of the teams slated for the National Second Division next year. They're also at 3 o'clock, and the Central Coast Mariners trying to lift themselves off the bottom of the table against second place Marconi up at Plume Park, Apia Leichhardt and the Sutherland Sharks. The final fixture of tomorrow, kicking off at 5:30 from Lambert Park. So Wigan back up under his own steam, but Spirit to complete the first half with just 10 players. Rockdale doesn't look as though they're going to get an opportunity to send another attack forward, certainly if they're going to be that hesitant about attacking the ball in the air. Chalakian senses Nicholas coming to approach him. Constable's touch betrays him. Spirit looking for the sanctity of the changing room. 1 minute was indicated to us to be added on, but 2 injuries since then have seen us play into a 5th minute of stoppage time in this first half. And there's Danny Horsted's whistle. So Spirit get to the break with a goal advantage. Kaya Williams with his first goal in senior football. A scrappy one, but they don't draw pictures on the scoreboard, and certainly Spirit won't be ranting and raving about their first half performance, but it was a solid one defensively, with Rockdale unable to break through in the opening 45 minutes. Will they find an answer in the second half? You'll have to stick around and join us from Christie Park as the players head to the sheds. It's Spirit FC 1, league leading Rockdale Ilinden 0. Welcome back to Christie Park, Indigenous round in Football New South Wales competitions, the NPL New South Wales men's round 23, and an upset brewing here at Christie Park. It's Spirit FC who've taken a 1-0 lead to the break, courtesy of their young defender, Kaya Williams, who was first to the ball when it fell into a crowd of bodies in the box. Rockdale unable to deal with it and unable to find an equaliser to this point. Currently lead the league by 9 points at the start of the evening. I want to extend that by the end of it with their two closest rivals, Apia Leichhardt and Marconi, both in action tomorrow. But in danger of allowing them just half a crack in the door to the Premiership, which they are very much the favourites for in 2024. Be very, very careful in this second half that they do not begin to let it slip. Tough run of fixtures coming up as well. They'll host Sydney United 58 next weekend, away at Olympic, home against Apia Leichhardt, away at Wollongong. It is not an easy run of fixtures over the next month for Rockdale. And so tonight's result becomes even more important. Could be a turning point that they'd rather forget. Still in control of that narrative though. Whatever happens, we'll bring it all to you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page tonight. Alex Molchanoff along with you. Thank you for your company on Darug Land, wherever you're watching around the world tonight. One change at the break. Spirit have taken off Ollie Wiggin. Was fouled 4 or 5 times in that first half. Been replaced by the informed Zach Cianci, who is dancing towards the Rockdale defence now and past Hunter Elliott. Can he sum it up? He only found the feet of Isaac Danzo, who's been astute in his defensive work, less so in his play going forwards to this point in the match. Saw a little microcosm of it there. No champagne football played from either side in the first half, but that has advantage Spirit. It's been a high-intensity encounter. Both teams working as hard off the ball as they have on it. Mathieu Cordier, who struggled to get into the game in the first half, has just been shrugged off it by Richie Darko there, starting off the right in this second half. McKinley and Cianci again, trying to take up the role that Wigan played so well in the first half, running at the Rockdale defence and really sending them onto the back foot after they were so dominant in the opening 20 minutes or so. Bakmaj, not for the first time, has fallen onto the artificial turf. Quickly back to his feet this time as his teammates move the ball forward. Richie Darko darting in onto his favourite left foot. Elliott half away. Darko trying to make something of it. Danto with an unorthodox half volley to clear, but it's Spirit who've started the brighter with the lead in the second half. Williams, player of the night so far in terms of being present at the centre of all the major moments. Only player in Danny Hortstead's notebook, only name on the score sheet, and very much incurring the wrath of David Perkovic for that ball forwards. Here's Cordier. Face to face with Freck. And that's a beautiful ball across the face of goal, which wasn't able to be turned home by Constable. That's a couple of times he's found himself in that situation on a very tight angle, but that has given the travelling Rockdale supporters a little bit of voice for the first time in half an hour or so. Number of new faces at Spirit after the transfer window, not least that man Takeru Sugita, who's starting up front today. Certainly wasn't central in the first half, but he joins a couple of new signings. Jaden Tran up from League One with Hakoa, where he was prolific in front of goal. It's an option for David Perkovic should he need a goal tonight. Lincoln Gilmore, Riku Chan and Jonas Freck are the other additions that they've been able to make over the course of the registration window, which closed on Thursday night. Rockdale making just the 2 signings themselves. Returning junior Zach Nikolovsky, who's been away, spending some time in Germany, one of their semi-professional clubs. And Nick Soros making his second starting goal tonight. He's conceded one for the first time. Chalakian trying to link up with Cordier, who was battling to make something of it. Kaya Williams has found himself in the right spot at the right time so many times tonight, but he couldn't quite measure that pass for Zach Cianci. Sugita's been an enthusiastic defender from the front. Nice touch from Giorgio Speranza. Left by Danzo for Daniel Collins. And now Hunter Elliott. Changes must be on the agenda for Rockdale in the not-too-distant future. I've already talked about Yinka Mola tonight. By Antonio is there as well. Some more attacking thrust if it is needed by Dejan Stavroulakis. Giorgio Speranza into the challenge with Darko. Fell for McKinley. That's a lovely ball for Sugita. Just a half a foot or so too high for the Japanese striker. Would have loved a goal on debut. Robbie Speranza playing forward. Cordier strong but not unfair on Janis Freck, and then a wasted throw in from Urashevsky. A little bit of panic starting to set into Rockdale's play, I'd say. A team that love to play with high intensity, but they've got to make sure they're measured in their actions as well as they chase this game. Mentioned Antonio and Mola. Lockie Griffiths and Blake Rashuto both making their way over to warm up as well. So Kataoka, who started that game against Hills last weekend, is there as well. That's towards Urashevsky. And flying out of his net was Marks to get half a fist on that. It was more than enough to take it away from their star man. Ball over the top for Sugita, who'd stepped too early. And Rockdale are starting to get the stranglehold on this game that they had in the early stages of the first half. Well-measured ball from Robbie Speranza. Cordier, who just cut in past Freck. It was a clumsy challenge, and it draws a second booking from Danny Orsted. First yellow card in Spirit colours for the 20-year-old. I don't think there were too many questions being asked by Danny Orsted to any supporters there about that decision. Rockdale fans down that end gave him all the encouragement he needed. Very similar situation to the one that Spirit scored from in the first half, down the same end of the pitch. Chalakian didn't beat the first man. Giorgio Speranza is still scrapping for it. Collins off balance, high, wide, and well away from Marks' net. So the search goes on for a Rockdale goal. It was a late one that got them the winner here a season ago. Jaden Casella, they had to wait till the 83rd minute. Looks as though there's going to be more changes coming for Perkovic, and perhaps no surprise that the club captain, Greg Cornwall, is being readied. Spent some more time out with injury over the past couple of months. See his knees heavily strapped. And now the booking's coming for Janis Freck, who's already been booked. And it's a red card. A big decision from Danny Orsted. A second yellow card in a matter of moments. Spirit were being warned about delaying the restart the entirety of the first half. And Rockdale will be enthused, if nothing else, by that. They've got numbers forward as well. It's Urashevsky. Chalakian to deliver this ball from the corner. There's no one in red and black there, but Chris Marks didn't get a shout from any of his defenders. And just flapped it away. Some panic setting in for the Spirit players now, who are going to have to see out the remaining 35 minutes or so with 10 players for the second weekend in a row. And Grant Cornwall has been stood in front of us, ready to go. Amongst all of that, his introduction is going to be all the more important now, as Collins got something on it. Not quite the purchase he was looking for. Giorgio Speranza's ball only found Marks, who was coolly in behind it. Well forward, and Spirit having their qualms about the red card, but the fact of the matter is that Danny Horsted was warning players through the entirety of the end of that first half about delaying the restart, and he lost patience. Inconvenient, certainly, that Freck had only just been booked. But this has given Rockdale renewed impetus. Constable for Danzo, and Urashevsky lining up! He doesn't need a second invitation. A fourth goal in the last 2 weeks for Alek Urashevsky. His fifth in 3 against this opposition, and he ticks another ground off the list of those he scored at in the NPL New South Wales men's. Just 2 minutes after Spirit are reduced to 10, Rockdale have their equaliser. And after such a bright start to the second half, it's all gone wrong for the hosts. Rockdale have found their rhythm, and now they've got the goal to show for it. And you feel it'll be difficult for Spirit to stop the flow now. They're going to have this say, though, Spirit. They're a team full of fire and character. And they might just have been as woken up by Rockdale were by the red cards. Robbie Speranza for Isaac Danzo. So Spirit protests continue below us. And still Grant Cornwall is waiting for his entry. Pelikanos for Hunter Elliott. It's all hands on deck now for Spirit. Collins for Hunter Elliott, who whips in another dangerous ball. This one easily fielded by Marks. Pressure mounting raid by raid from Rockdale on Spirit's goal. Chris Marks is a cool head to have under pressure. Even he can't do it alone. And Mikey Conestavo's come up with an air swing, and Urashevsky's headed towards goal. He and Buckmarsh waiting for the ball to bounce. Urashevsky kept his feet. Buckmarsh recovered beautifully. Probably Speranza wants to keep the ball in play. Couldn't do that, but it will be a Rockdale throw. Two Speranza brothers interchanging passes on the near side. Pelikanos. So we approach the hour mark. Spirit led at half-time through Kaya Williams. They've had Giannis Freck sent off since that. 2 yellow cards in a matter of moments. And Alek Urashevsky found the equaliser. 26 for the season in the league. Just needs 1 more to equal his total for the entirety of last season. Still 6 games to go in the league after this one. Game that has, funnily enough, almost increased in its physicality since the red card. Connor Starbo right in the back of Giorgio Speranza, who's keen to have words after as well. The Rockdale bench keen for Giorgio Speranza to leave it alone. Arms raised, Robbie Speranza's in there. He's not exactly a hot-headed individual, but in there to defend his brother. Richie Darko and Alek Urashevsky have walked off arm in arm, so that tells you something. Mikey Conestabо is still rather red in the face. Can't look away from this one at the moment. It's continued in the same manner that it was in the first half, where it was just a moment a minute. Switch and play for Cordiat. Darko did well to get back and has shepherded it back for Chris Marks to claim. This is still not enough for Rockdale. In all honesty, they've got half an hour and an extra man, but they will need to find the second goal. Alek Urashevsky gave them their equaliser just before the 55-minute mark. And they've got to be careful that Sugita doesn't get onto the end of one of those. He's been a willing runner in his first Spirit appearance, to signing during the registration window. Marks called on to play sweeper. Giorgio Speranza for Urashevsky. Well-timed challenge by Connor Starbo. Sugita. How's his vision? Not too bad. And Richie Darko's picked out some space on the right-hand side. Robbie Speranza across in cover. Dancing feet of Darko. Not the worst ball. Hunter Elliott back right in the centre of the 6-yard box to clear. Danzo. Chalakian and Pelikanos, and gets it back, Brendan Chalakian. And Williams, who's already been booked as well. Spirit are down to 9. Goodness me. They're two young defenders, both copping second yellow cards from Danny Horsted within 5 minutes of each other. And it has all gone to water for Spirit, who cannot believe it. Chalaki and the architect picking up that space between defence and midfield again. Spirit didn't have a body close, and Kaya Williams really only had one option. So Jared Lum into a makeshift centre-half position, but Spirit with 2 players less now of the tallest of orders to hang on to this point, which they still have in their grasp. Richard Darko, just a moment after making a very promising run, makes his way from the field for another one of Spirit's experienced heads. Good shift put in by Richie Darko, but he's not the man they need right now. Cornwall goes into centre half alongside Buckmarsh, but not before the cross could come in. There was all a bit of confusion in the Spirit defence about exactly what was happening with Grant Cornwall there. Chalakian, as he so wants to do, snuck between the 2 centre halves, couldn't direct his header on target. So, if you're just joining us, you've missed a fair bit. Kaya Williams got the Spirit opener in the first half. They had the lead at the break, but he also copped a booking in the first half. Just added to that a couple of moments ago. His first goal in senior football, followed by his first red card. That was all after Giannis Freck had found himself being booked by Danny Horsted twice inside 5 minutes. So Spirit are down to 9 players. Alek Urashevsky has scored the equaliser amongst all that. And he's got another chance here if it falls for him. Didn't quite. And Arte Buckmarsh was alive to the danger. Probably the best travelled player in the NPL New South Wales men's. Spent a decade overseas after leaving as a teenager. Back with Sydney United 58 and won a Waratah Cup with them last season. Trying to take Spirit to a similar situation, this. It's been a vastly improved performance from Spirit tonight. From their last two losses against Sutherland and the Central Coast Mariners. They've looked more disciplined defensively than really they've shown over the last month or so, which will please Perkovic, even if the result at the end of it all doesn't. At the moment, they're still hanging on to this 1-1 result. Just under half an hour to try and keep it that way. Up from Chalakian into Wadzuraszewski. Constable thumped it against the Spirit body. And Rockdale will have a corner. Temperature continuing to drop here at Christie Park. There's no surprises there. Pretty close to perfect conditions to football all evening. Ball into the near post, not really dealt with by Spirit. Some half-hearted appeals for a handball are waved away very quickly by referee Horsted. Robbie Speranza with time to bring it down. His pass didn't match the touch though. And a hand of apology in his brother's direction. Stress still apparent on the face of Nick Stavroulakis, who knows the job is far from done. Cordier's taken the throw, but it's not his. Now exchanging words with David Perkovic. He's been very involved tonight, the Spirit coach, although I think Cordier made him become involved there. Sugita has gone down and he's not too responsive to the hand offered by Giorgio Speranza there either. Felt there was something unnecessary amongst all that. Spirit getting play back underway. Robbie Speranza coming over the top of everybody to clear that one. Chalakian, who's drawn his fair share of free kicks tonight, can't work one there. Instead concedes the throw. McKinley took it quickly. Speranza right in the back of Sugita. Nice take from Blake Rasciuto, warming up down there. Sugita again, looking to work a corner. Giorgio Speranza, they're doing the defending. Didn't concede that, but turned it back over. Connor Starbo, clever enough to keep it in play. There's not too many yellow shirts to aim for in the middle. Another throw will do. Spirit have it down the right end from their point of view. Keeping it there is as good as a goal for the 9 men. And Connor Starbo's touch let him down a little. It's an awkward one for him from Jared McKinley's throw. Rockdale looking to lift the tempo again as they search for the goal that would give them all 3 points, and what a critical 3 points it would be. Taking them 12 points clear of Marconi at the top of the league. 13 ahead of RPL Leichhardt, who have 2 games in hand entering tonight. Or it'll be 3 by the time Rockdale finish here. Hunter Elliott. Rockdale might be finally about to make their first sub. Looks like it's going to be So Kataoka, adding to the Japanese contingent out there tonight. Nice touch from Chianchi. There's just no Spirit players ahead of him to aim for. Sugita was the only one. Couldn't find him. Danzo. Every Spirit player behind the ball as they defend what they've got at the moment. Cordier. It's been fiery, but hasn't quite been able to deliver a ball like that consistently enough. That was a much better one, and it wins his side a corner. Chalakian's had a few of these over the course of the evening. Every Spirit player back in there. Collins attacking it. And Mark's got a touch, so another corner will do it all again. Chalakian into that same area. Collins got there this time, and his effort scrapes the crossbar. That close to sending Rockdale into the lead for the first time tonight. It's been a long chase for them. They've been helped by the dismissal of two of Spirit's young defenders after half-time. Rashevsky getting the equaliser while Spirit still had 10 on the park. Now they're down to 9 after the second yellow card for Kaya Williams. So Kataoka is stripped off. He's ready to go. Interesting to see who he replaces, whether it'll be Pelikanos or Danzo in the centre of midfield. Danzo thought of as the more cultured ball player, but hasn't quite been at his best tonight. Cordy has just shrugged off McKinley. Now twisting and turning and looking for options. Danzo looking for the feet of Rashevsky. Trying to make something of the second ball now. Hunter Elliott picking it up and keeping the attack alive. Danzo stayed forward. His touch left short, and Connor Starbo just clears it away and actually picked up the foul off Chalakian as well. So Kataoka about to join us. We're at number 77 for Rockdale. Daniel Collins being removed, the big physical centre half. It's a good hand from the travelling Rockdale supporters. So what will the adjustment be here? Dean Pelikanos has gone into that centre half role. Kataoka to take his role as one of the screening midfielders and now really one of the deep-lying playmakers for Nick Stavroulakis. Spirit trying to play spoiler in Rockdale's pursuit of the premiership. He's done a very, very spirited effort. Lived up to the name tonight. They're looking to get a point as a reward. Not helped by the sendings off. Danzo for Cordier. Saw Giorgio Speranza getting forward in support. Now it comes to him. What's he got in his locker from the cross? Not dealt with. And the strike from Chalakian was always rising. Less favoured his left foot, but he would have been expecting to test Marquez at the very least from there. Or Marks, I should say. More subs coming for Rockdale and Spirit. As the clock ticks down. There's a little bit of a feeling around Christie Park after that second yellow card to Kaya Williams and the second red card for Spirit that perhaps the result was a foregone conclusion. Spirit have been dogged in their defence and have made sure that's not the case. Cordier. It's been growing in influence. Chips it up over the crossbar. And a ball that looked so useful ended up being far less than that. So an experienced head and young legs is going to be the formula for Stavroulakis as they chase their second goal. The most important to them, Yinkas and Mola and Blake Rashuto. Both capable of scoring goals. Rashuto got a late one earlier in the season in a situation not dissimilar to this one. So Mola certainly more thought of as the attacking threat, though. Don't want to take this time over the sub if it's coming. Play seems to have been stopped. Yep, Isaac Danzo is going to make his way from the field. And joining him is Lockie Constable. The end of the road for those two. Young Yinkas and Mola going to the right. Like Rashuto taking Danzo's place in the heart of midfield. And St. Mola already flying towards Marks, trying to close him down. Cordier. time it's Sugita pursuing him. In front of him is McKinley. He's found his way past him as well. And Cornwall at the front post doing the clearing, but it's another Rockdale corner. The travelling fans driving them on down that end. Double sub coming for Perkovic. Chidiak and Kavanagh being readied. As Chalakian swings in another one. Punched away by Marks, only as far as Giorgio Speranza, who didn't catch that at all well. And there might be a chance for Conestabo to get forward. Challenge wasn't legal, and Giorgio Speranza is going to be the first Rockdale player in the book tonight. And up an apology, he knew what was coming. And Spirit will feel no obligation to rush things here. Zakcianci was only brought on at half-time. So rare situation of a substitute being substituted off, but that's just the situation of the game at the moment. I acknowledge that. Not the most rewarding first outing for Takeru Sugita, but he put himself about. He certainly would have endeared himself to the Spirit fans for the shift he put in up front. A lot of legwork without a lot of reward. Throws towards Chidiak, who's taken up a high position. Kavanagh similarly. First touch of the ball for both those two this evening. Pelikanos bringing it out of defence. Rashevsky read it better than Cornwell, and his header brought it down for himself. Bakmaj across. Hands to his head as he concedes another corner. Well into double figures now tonight, Rockdale Ilinden. Kataoka has taken over set piece duties from Chalakian. Will he have any more luck? Whipped in, Marks again with half a fist towards it. The last touch was off a Spirit player. Rashevsky was half a mind to take it. Now he's going to take it short with Chalakian. Oh, and then a dreadful return pass from Chalakian. Means that the opportunity goes to waste. Can't continue to turn them up, Rockdale. This would be quite a result if they're not able to find a winner. Kataoka. Rashevsky. It's really been on the periphery of this second half. It's a good ball from Kataoka towards Rashuto. Tracked all the way by Cornwall, who certainly doesn't look all the way back to full fitness, but needs must at the moment for Spirit FC. Pelikanos. All 9 Spirit players behind the ball. A sloppy touch from Rashuto, and Lum with an audacious effort to try and catch out Soros from well inside his own half. Having the ball down that end is just as effective for the hosts at the moment. Still 12 minutes of regular time to see out. It will seem like an age. And it will race past for Rockdale. Hunter Elliott forward from right back. Dangerous ball, but not one that found anyone in red and black. By Antonio being readied. Had just a little bit more attacking thrust. Mikey Conestabo stretching out tired legs. Be a few of those for Spirit, given the work they've had to put in this second half. Now the substitution comes. Giorgio Speranza. It's all out attack for Rockdale Ilinden, and why wouldn't it be? His most prolific year by Antonio. He's had to do most of his work off the bench. Just the 1 goal in 17 appearances for the 17-year-old. Now Grant Cornwall's coming over for running repairs. Split in his head, characteristic of his warrior-like qualities. Certainly not the first time I've seen Grant get one of those over his career. Simple solution, the most effective to stem the bleeding. That white bandage will be soaked through in very little time, I'd posit. Only needs to stand up for 10 minutes or so, which is, funnily enough, the same amount of time that Spirit need to see out to save a point here. Pelikanos looking for the cutting ball rather than a shot himself, which receives a thumbs up from Chalakian. Kateoka is looking for Urashevsky, who's added his 26th goal of the league campaign tonight. It's not enough as it stands. Hunter Elliott, his ball in is too deep. He evades all in red and black. And precious seconds tick away. It is all so tense. Marconi and Apia fans undoubtedly watching on, hoping and praying that Spirit can do them the biggest of favours here. And they get their business done tomorrow and just eat into the lead slightly. Week by week has got to be the approach. 6 rounds to go after this weekend. Or 7, I should say. How's my count? Be 9 games still to play for Apia Leichhardt. Well, amongst a round of 32 in the Australia Cup and a Waratah Cup, they've got a busy last couple of months. Less so for Rockdale, but it's still crowded. Spirit as well, and Blacktown City, who are chasing a top 6 spot themselves. By Antonio's ball in. They just have not been able to find Urashevsky almost since he got the equaliser. He's hardly had a touch. Marks took every second available to him. Urashevsky was trying to help the referee out with a count. Speranza's ball over the top to the bandaged Grant Cornwall. It's being held together by tape tonight. Pelikanos, who's shifted to centre-half to give them this sort of ball-playing ability from the back. See, Samola's ball in. And the free kick goes against Rockdale. Chalakian a little overzealous in his attempts to try and win the football over the top of Corey Kavanagh.
One side! Get on one side! Cheats! Get on Cheats' side! Come on!
This will be a performance that lives in the annals if Spirit history, if they can hang on. Another substitution and another new signing for David Perkovic, about to make his second appearance for the club. Jaden Tran. A very good start to the season down in League One with Alcoa, where he scored 9 goals in 13 appearances. Very capable of finding the back of the net, if the chance befalls him to steal all 3 points for Spirit. It would be the most unlikely of victories now, but stranger things have happened. Rockdale still hoping for a winner of their own. Not the situation I'm sure Jaden Tran was expecting to come on under this evening, but an opportunity to get some more Spirit football under his belt. Pelikanos going the other way, interchanging passes with Kateoka. Now Cordier. And Toniu ahead of him. Running at Chidiak, who's got fresh legs as well, and timed the challenge as he fell to the floor. Robbie Speranza lining up himself. Cornwall just punches it back from whence it came. Spirit in a very disciplined 2 banks of 4. No strikers ahead of them, and Pelikanos frustrated with the outcome as much as himself. Last lot of fresh legs that David Perkovic has available. Conosabo, you could see him cramping a little earlier, and he's limping his way off now. Tran, the last bit of attacking thrust available. Big shift put in by Mikey Conestovo, not in the creative areas that we're used to seeing him in, but the effort will be so well appreciated by his side nonetheless. Cordier's headed forward, right in the wheelhouse of Grant Cornwall. Half an hour has become 15 minutes, 15 minutes have become 10, 10 have become 5 for Rockdale. Chasing this game against 9 players, not able to find the breakthrough. Cordier. And Lum was first to it. Scream, trying to get the attention of the referee, but straight back to his feet and back in the defensive line. Rockdale have got to find something a little bit more inventive at the moment. The wide balls and the crosses in aren't working. That's a dangerous one! Right onto the head of Urashevsky. Came to him so quickly. Beautiful technique to really even steer it anywhere towards the goal. Matters little for Rockdale though. It is wide and the result is the same. As if he'd missed it completely. Speranza up with Chidiac. It fell for him eventually, and Cordier can only bash it out of play. Spirits are so close. Kavanagh. Lum committed as ever. Chalakian trying to return it for Antonio, but Cornwall read it all the way. Then it evaded him. Chidiac coming over the top, but winning the football. Just weight of numbers wins it back for Rockdale. And now Urashevsky looking off the shoulder. Rashuto looking to pick up the scraps. Elliott's got a lot of space out on that side now with just 8 Spirit outfield players to defend. Pelikanos forwards. Kavanagh doing the defending this time. It's all hands on deck for Spirit, and Tran's got space to run into. No support with him, funnily enough. How long can he eat off the clock? Running it towards the corner. Speranza can only stick it out for a Spirit throw. A quite remarkable story unfolding here at Christie Park. But will do damage to Rockdale's title hopes if the score stays. Certainly won't put paid to them, far from it. Got 1 point with the chasing pack trying to close tomorrow. Will not quite feel as good. As it might if they're able to salvage a winner here. They haven't led tonight, Rockdale. Urashevsky, and even the panic has infected him. The most uncharacteristic of errors from their star man. The patterns are becoming oh so familiar now, but they haven't unlocked the Spirit defence yet with 9 players. Elliott high again. The cross sent in. Rashuto! He's done it again for Rockdale Ilinden. Finally the goal comes, and that's what it means. Three precious points going Rockdale's way now. Heartbreak for Spirit, who fought so doggedly. But weight of numbers has finally beaten them, as well as a beautiful cross from Hunter Elliott, right onto the head of the substitute, Blake Rashuto. And the gap might just be 12 points rather than 10. They've been given all the favours tonight, Rockdale, but they still had to go and find those 2 goals. They've dug them out against the most unwilling of opponents. Not the tidiest of performances from Rockdale Ilinden tonight. They will not care. And Ion. Shove in the back from McKinley. Draws a whistle. And now Rockdale will give Spirit a taste of their own medicine, really, and just taking their time over the restart. 4 minutes should be fairly easy to see out. A third would be the cherry on top. Sunmola. This pass out for Elliott set up the chance for an assist. Buckmarsh has read the situation, is trying to get Spirit going the other way. He's one inside the throw. Risciuto has hardly had a touch outside the header to give Rockdale the lead. The penultimate minute of regular time in this one, bringing Rockdale's critical goal. Danny Orsted had his whistle to his lips very early there, but didn't need to blow it. Oh, how about the touch from Marashevsky? It's released Antonio. Rockdale might be home here. It's Bay Antonio to seal it. What a save from Marks with his legs. Got his angles spot on. Cordier. And Rockdale can just keep possession now if they choose. It's not really their way, though, and St. Moller's drifted into a free area. Marks. And now the flag goes up. It was a late one, but it came eventually for Spirit. Chidiac and Tran are the makeshift front two now for Spirit. It's over the head of Jaden Tran. Hunter Elliott has come up with a big moment for Rockdale Ilinden. Still just his second season of senior football, you must remember that. Been so impressive again tonight. Kataoka linking up with Chalakian and Sunmola. Last touch was off Olienka Sunmola, was it? No. Throw's gone Rockdale's way. 4 minutes were indicated by the fourth official to be added on. Can't imagine Danny Orsted will be waiting for too much longer to blow the final whistle. Risciuto's goal the winner. Alika Rashevsky got the equaliser after Spirit had been set down to 10 men. Kaya Williams' red card followed, which lesson there forces further. It was all after they had the lead through the break through Williams, his first senior goal. It's turned from a happy memory to a rather sour one. Soros just launching it away from Rockdale's half. St. Moller timed his run beautifully. He was cut off by the retreating McKinley, who's covered every blade of artificial turf on Christie Park this evening. Tran with the early ball. There's space for Lum, who couldn't control it and may have used an arm in any case. Well, that was nearly a moment to save it for Spirit. Not quite. Those cheers coming from the local competition game being played behind us on Christie Park 2. Not the final whistle just yet. But we have ticked over the 4 allotted minutes. Soros taking every second. And Danny Orsted confirms a critical win for Rockdale Ilinden. They had to come from behind. They were helped out by the 2 red cards for Spirit in the second half. Alika Rashevsky's 26th of the season followed in by another late winner from Blake Risciuto, whose first touch off the bench was a goal-scoring one, as if he wasn't already loved enough down at the Ilinden Sports Centre. Tough luck for Spirit, who fought so hard and made Rockdale's job very, very difficult, even with just 8 outfield players, but it wasn't enough. And so the lead is 12 as we sit here on Saturday night. It's been a pleasure to bring you this one from Christie Park. Second game of round 23. Remember to catch the rest of the round where you found this one on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. But it's Alex Molchanoff signing off from Christie Park, where it has finished Spirit FC 1, Rockdale Ilinden 2.